Oh,
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much to everyone for taking time out of your day. And I'm Andrea Jenkins. I'm so grateful to be with you from this, and I'm with the Social Institute. And I'm joined by my colleague Savannah, who is going to help run some polls throughout the process. And um, to kick us off today, we are talking about AI, artificial intelligence for academic excellence. And I love that I saw in the chat, somebody's introduction, they said, they gave their intro and they said, my experience is I've used it myself and I've caught my students using it. And so we're going to talk a lot about that, about catching your students doing something that you feel like, maybe that's not really feeling like that's, you know, how AI was intended or great to use for academic purposes. And also some ways that students are really leaning into AI in positive ways. And so we're going to look at both sides of this today. And so a little bit about me. I am an educator at heart. I've had 20 years of experience in schools. I've been an elementary school principal, a curriculum director, a teacher, an advisor. And so I've had lots of experience in the classroom, but I also am not a digital native. And that's important to know because I remember whenever being in the classroom and whenever the computer lab or technology in the classroom was two lonely computers sitting over in the corner and students had to rotate through them. And, sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. And so I don't know, you can give me a thumbs up in the chat if that is, if you can relate to that as well. And I saw that all the way through the evolution to maybe a cart that was assigned for a hallway of some laptops, and you had to check them out, and you maybe got them, an hour a week or an hour a day, and then all the way to students having one-to-one devices and helping to roll that out. Yeah, Daniel, thank you for the thumbs up there. I've got somebody else who's had that same experience in the classroom. So just know that I've seen this evolution as an educator. I've experienced it myself and walked through helping teachers through that evolution. And I also have experienced this as a parent. So I have a son who is 19 years old, who's in college. And so I remember the begging for the phone, the begging for social media accounts, the struggle my husband and I had of talking through, what should we allow, what should we not, and seeing that all the way how his progression with technology all the way from elementary, middle, and high school, and now into college, and what that experience has been like. And so just know that I come to all of you today through that lens of an educator, also as a parent, but also through my work here at the Social Institute. So one of the things that I get to do every single day as the director of partner success is talk to our partner schools. We have partner schools across the country. Actually, we have schools into Canada and Brazil as well. So we really are have an international perspective. And so we are getting to hear from educators like you every single day. But most importantly, we hear from students. And so our number one core value is students first. We are a students first organization. So everything you do today that you see today is created with students in mind and through student voice and through the help of our student ambassador program. So the image you're seeing here is these are some of our student ambassadors. And so we actually meet with them every 2 weeks. And we are hearing directly from students things like, how are you using AI? How is that impacting you? What trends are you seeing on social media? And what are you and your friends talking about? So we are getting all of our content and lesson insights and insights to how students are engaging daily directly from students, which I think is so important for you to know. So we are going to start with a some quick trivia and some quick games. So I love playing a game of this or that. And so that's what we're going to do. Well, let me go back here to our agenda real quick. So we are going to start with the game, and then we are going to look at what do we know about how students are using AI academically? How are they using AI um, for non-academic purposes as well. And then we're actually going to get to dive in and see what is our approach? Like, how do we approach the use of AI from an empowering standpoint? And so educating you a bit about on that as well. And then taking a look at what it means to be a role model with AI and how you can help students navigate this new technology or this technology that they have at their fingertips and that they're using already, and do that in a way that it fuels their health, happiness, and future success, as we say. So let's start with a quick game of this or that. So I have a question here for you, a little bit of trivia. You can go ahead and put this into the chat. Round one, are calculators considered AI? Go ahead and let me know. I see a lot. I see a lot of no, no, no. I see some yeses in there, right? Okay. All right. So I'm getting some yeses. I'm getting some nos. Let's go ahead and see what we say. All right. If you answered yes, you are incorrect. The answer is actually no. Calculators are not considered AI. And so that is surprising to a lot of people. They think that that's kind of the first step or entry level of AI. So what is actually considered AI? Alex, you got it, that calculators are just a tool. So let's take a look at a definition of what artificial intelligence is. It's the theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks that normally require human intelligence, such as visual perception, speech recognition, decision-making, and translation between languages. I look at this as yes, the calculator needs me to put numbers in it, but it's not making any sort of analysis or interpretation based on what it is that I'm giving to it. It's simply giving me output based on what I put in there. It's giving me a calculation back. So if I did something wrong, it's not going to infer that I meant something else, and it's not going to give me suggestions or recommendations based on the numbers that I put in there, trying to anticipate my meaning. So with that, and looking at this definition, I want you to think about what are some actual examples of AI that you know about. So go ahead and throw that into the chat. Okay, so we're seeing Grammarly. Yes. Oh my gosh, Grammarly. If you don't have Grammarly installed, please install it. It is a game changer. Chat GPT. All right, Magic School AI, Grammarly, Firefly. Yes, we're going to talk about things like Firefly. All right, so Diffit, Canva, yes, for sure, has design. It's design AI and has a lot of AI features and qualities to it. All right, we've got several here coming in. Image recognition, I'm so glad that you said that, in creation tools. That's wonderful. All right, so let's give you some other examples that we may think about. Siri. Siri, of course, is AI. It's going to, you can ask it a question and you can, it will give you information back that you're looking for, or it'll say, I'm not quite understanding that. Can you say that again? And then it will go and find other information, or it'll say, I'm seeing 3 of what you're looking for. Which one of these do you want? So another one is GPS and also navigation systems have a lot of AI where it will give you alternate routes, or it can alert you to things ahead. So those are also examples of AI that we use every day. Streaming, so video streaming, music streaming, it's making recommendations too based on what it knows that your preferences are. And so all of those times that you're feeding it of like, yes, I like this, or you're hitting certain playlists, it's learning that. It's learning more about you, and it's adapting it according to what it is that it knows about you. And even things like household appliances have some AI technology in them too. So it's really becoming more and more a part of what we are doing and using every single day. So some of those you put there into the chat, and we have a list of them here that we are using AI for all the time in professional settings. So we have chatbots such as ChatGPT. Many of you know about ChatGPT, and a lot of you said that as an example of ones that you would use. ChatGPT is used for so many ways professionally and so many ways personally. I'm going to tell you my very first experience with ChatGPT was for planning my trip to France. I wanted to know, I was visiting a lot of different places, and I was like, I'm not sure what places, can you give me an itinerary based on two people that uh, uh, like to do certain these types of things, and we'll be staying in this region. And then it gave me a bunch of ideas back. I'm like, oh, we will be there Monday through Fridays, or can so make sure that it includes ideas that are open during that time. So I could really even narrow it down once it was giving me more and more suggestions and tailoring this custom experience itinerary based on what I was telling it. So that was my very first experience with ChatGPT, and ever since then, I've been using it even more and more. So Notion, has anybody here used Notion? Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you've used Notion. I absolutely have. I uh, love Notion. I've never been a big personal paper planner person because I've always loved and gravitated towards digital tools. And so Notion is exactly that. And students, we first learned about Notion from our student ambassadors, and it is a productivity and task management, time management tool, project management tool that a lot of students are using because they can pull from a lot of different sources such as Google and their playlist and all of these other different things that they are using for their own personal and school life. And they use that to organize their lives. And so they can create to-do lists, they can create collaborative projects, they can jot down different ideas and brainstorm ideas and share it with other people. And so Notion has really taken that idea, that concept of a digital or a paper planner, and put it into a digital form that includes all kinds of AI capabilities in it as well. Somebody mentioned fireflies. Now, I will say fireflies, I have tried fireflies a few times. I've gone to another one, but it is an AI note-taking app. Now, Zoom actually has some Zoom two AI features that I really appreciate. One is Zoom summary. So after every single Zoom meeting that I have, I get a summary of that meeting, and it breaks out the different topic areas. It's actually really spot on with how the meeting has gone. So it breaks out the different topic areas that we discussed, along with any next steps or any action items that were discussed as well. So from a productivity standpoint, you can see that that is really, really powerful to have something like that, so I can be really focused on the conversation and not have to worry about all that note taking so much. With that, in Zoom as well, there is also the AI companion. The thing I love about that one is if you've had to step away for a while, you can use a feature that says catch me up, and it will give you a quick summary of the different key points that have been discussed so far. So as you can see, AI is really starting to be such an asset and integrate into how we are just doing, handling productivity and doing business in our day-to-day. Fireflies works very similarly as well. Somebody had mentioned, image creation and image generation. So I work with somebody who also continues to coach cheerleading, and she used an image generator to help design cheerleading, her cheerleading uniforms She was able to put in the mascot and kind of the requirements that she needed, and it was able to give several different designs that she could then send off to a designer and have that made. So wonderful, lots of different ways that you can see this happening, both in an education setting, but also in other professional settings as well. All right, so just to give a quick overview of ChatGPT, because that's what we're going to focus a lot on now, is ChatGPT really launched in November of 2022. It's hosted by OpenAI, which is one of Elon Musk's endeavors. And it hit, as you can see with any social platform, it launches big, right? It starts with a big, big peak. And then it hit its peak in March of 2023. And then it started to stabilize. And the thing that's important to see here is that it hits a peak but didn't drop it sharply. It's stabilizing to a point where we say, okay, it's more of becoming a norm. That's a really important thing to know, because we know that ChatGPT is not going anywhere. It is here. It is a part of our students' lives. And that is why we as educators need to become more comfortable using it. So with that, I'd love to know, round two here of our game time, have you used ChatGPT? So let's see, we'll just yes or no. Okay, so I see a lot of yes every day. I love it. I love the yeses that are all caps with exclamation marks of yes, I have. Oh, and so somebody says for lesson planning, well, we're going to get to talk about a little bit of some different ways that you have. And actually, let's go ahead and do that now. So if you've said yes, give me an example. Tell us in the chat. What are some ways that you have used ChatGPT? Interview prep. Yeah, that's really great. Responding to angry parent emails when it's hard to find the words to say. Teacher feedback. Yes, again. Modifying assessments and translating into different languages. That is so important. And man, the amount of time, to me, ChatGPT is a time saver, right? We know what it is that we want to do. We know the tasks that we have in front of us. And we now have a tool that can help simplify some of those tasks. Yes, differentiation, just being a brainstorming partner. I love that you say that. Yep. Evaluations, being able to come up with ideas for engagement ideas. I had somebody say that they use them for to generate icebreakers. They were running out of ideas for icebreakers, and they could put in need icebreakers for a class of 15 students that are ages this to this, and they need to have some movement, and so you can really get something customized there. All right. So if you said no, I would love to know why you haven't. Is there something, a reason why that you haven't maybe dipped your toe into it yet? Something that is giving you a hesitation to jumping in. Maybe you just don't know. Maybe you're just not sure where to start. You can go ahead and put that into the chat too. All right. So what we also know is that educators, yeah, it is overwhelming. Not quite yet. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Use ChatGPT for resume building as well. What we do know too is that educators are split on this topic. I know that I'm speaking to people who really appreciate digital tools and lean into them. But if you ask a range of teachers, you're going to get a range of comfort levels, and pretty much split. Of 47% of educators surveyed said AI would have a negative effect or very negative impact on teaching and learning over the next 5 years. There's a lot of misunderstanding or lack of understanding and mistrust in AI and its capabilities and how students will use it. Now, conversely, some other teachers have think that it will help and really benefit the classroom. So that you can see this district superintendent in California says, I think AI will push making education more relevant to the individual student and the knowledge and skills that they need to transact with their life circumstances. And that is so true. It's really about seeing the possibilities that this can bring to the individual, and understanding, yes, it will come with complexities, no doubt about it, but it will also come with helping to extend opportunities to a lot of people. And that third one there, it is out, it is there. And so we already have so many ways that students are, I mean, academic integrity, if that's everyone's chief concern, that has been a concern for a very, very long time, given all kinds of tools. I remember a lot of questions about even a calculator. Is that a tool that should be used or not? And so this is just another part of that academic integrity conversation. And it's a different way to look at how to gain knowledge and using it in a way that that is used tech for good. All right, so I want to hear your opinion. All right, round 3, AI's impact on student learning. Do you see it as an enabler, or do you see it as a detractor? Enabler or detractor? All right, I'm seeing some enablers. Yep. Okay, detractor in writing, needing to shift focus on process rather than product, right? Do you feel like, so if you're not sure about this question, do you feel like it's going to take away help learning? It's an enabler of learning, or do you feel like it's going to take away from learning? Do you feel like it's going to detract from students really learning and understanding and growing in their knowledge? Or is it a both? I think you're absolutely getting at something there with both. Yeah, helping learning. Yes. John, both students, yes. Interested in learning will learn better. Those who are not will use it to think for them. And so you're actually getting to exactly what we are, our next part here of understanding students. So how are students using AI? John, you teed me up well there. Thank you so much for that. We know that just like with anything, social media gets such a bad rap, right? That there's so many things that students are doing where they're tripping up on it. And we also know that there are a lot of powerful, positive ways that students are using it as well. So, for example, when my son went off to college, Instagram and Snapchat were different vehicles that students could use to find roommates. So universities would try to do roommate pairings based on Instagram and Snapchat different groups. And so it was a way for a student who was going out of state or maybe didn't know anybody could meet other people before they ever got to campus. So that's an example of social media and tech being used for good. Just like that, AI can be used for good. And so here are some ways that students are using AI, specifically ChatGPT, positively. They are using it as a resource to help strengthen their writing skills. So just like some of you had said, oh, it helped me write a response to that an angry parent, an email response. Yes, they're seeing it as a way to help with understanding tone in email or in a paper, that they are using it as a way to maybe the student writes the draft and the AI contributes to helping with some different ideas to further enhance the draft. The can be a brainstorming partner of like, here, I've got this task assignment. I want to just have someone to bounce some ideas off. What if I went and wrote about this particular topic based on this novel? or use this. I've been asked to write about a theme of, jealousy from literature. And here's what I'm thinking. What do you think about that? Like using Chat GPT as sort of a thought partner with just generating some different ideas. Using it, writing all the content, but just looking for feedback on how to make it cleaner, more concise. Grammarly is an example of AI technology that already does that really well. A lot of them use Chat GPT as another way to just, I've done that before. I've had a really long email that I've put in Chat GPT and said, make this 2 paragraphs, and it was able to contain the same thought and idea in a much more condensed form. They're using it to learn more about topics that interest them in life, like coding or art. Just like I was able to use ChatGPT to help me plan a trip, to understand different, parts of the world and different things that I could do. They're asking for prompts on creative projects like art and different writing pieces. And I love the part of gathering new ideas to hang out with friends, different ways that they can be social. So how have you seen ChatGPT used with senior students use ChatGPT? Go ahead and throw into the chat. Maybe positively. Let's focus on positively first. We're definitely gonna get to some ways that they're tripping up. Okay, anyone see anyone's unique example of how students have been using Chat GPT positively? You think kids are, yeah. So it's funny. I asked my son about, like, hey, are you using Chat GPT? He's like, oh, that isn't that cheating? That was his first inclination as well. I was like, well, it depends on how you're using it. There's a lot of different ways that you can use Chat GPT to help you in all different aspects. So it's about educating them on how to use it well. Used in research project unit and created false sources. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That one, Katerina. Yeah. Using Chat GPT to break something down more simply. I think that is a big way that it is creating it can be a resource for students, of that they are able to take something, maybe a paragraph or some notes that they don't quite understand, and they can use it to simplify the information that they're getting. So instead of, maybe they say, oh, I had to run right after class to get to another class, and I didn't have a chance to engage with my teacher, they're able to actually use that as a way to get some additional support. So that's wonderful. Yeah. I had a girl ask if she could put my discussion question into the brainstorm and brainstorm her own responses. And I said, of course, wonderful. You're helping to show that a way that she can use it for good. I know of another student that was having friendship issues, and came to the teacher and said, you know what, I actually used Chat GPT. I was like, I'm having this problem with my friend. The person I would normally talk to about my problems is the person I'm having my problem with. And so it felt like they needed somebody else to go to. And so they actually put the issue into Chat GPT and got some different ideas and solutions. She tried one of them and it worked. And so another great way to use Chat GPT for good. All right, love all of these different ways here. And yes, as we acknowledge, ChatGPT and AI technology has the impact for students to trip up on it as well. And we definitely, as with all different types of technologies and social media, I think that is where we tend to go to first is, oh goodness, this is new, it's different. Let's think of the ways that we can really, that this may be a problem. And so we start to lock things down, right? We start to maybe prohibit students from using certain technologies because we see that they're tripping up, and all from a great place, right? We all want them to have high academic integrity. We want them to be involved in the learning process, but we also want to help them use tech for good as well. So here are some ways that we are seeing students tripping up is, as you know, maybe just having the bot write papers in its entirety. The student puts in the prompt, sits back, generates, and they claim it as their own. And so that is, I think, the number one way that educators are really struggling with that right now. Over relying on AI instead of approaching their teacher for support. So that's great that they could get more support from AI, but building that relationship with the teacher can often explain things differently as well. And so building that relationship with that teacher is still really important and a great thing for the student to do. So it shouldn't be used completely in replace of that. And over relying on AI for instead of developing those problem solving skills. And so with everything, you know, our view is always, how do we not just focus on the negatives, right? Because we know that it's here to stay. Not only is it here to stay, it's going to become even a bigger part of our lives. So let's embrace how we can use this positively. And yes, be aware of how they're tripping up, but also educate on how they can use it for good. So how can students use AI in winning ways? And you can see here, looking at this lose column, we really want to focus on that win column of helping them to strengthen their writing skills, generate practice questions for a test. That's a really great one. I know of a student who use ChatGPT to say, I need a study guide for this test. And I have here and gave some basic outlines of it. And the ChatGPT gave them a great study guide and made some different study recommendations as well. And exploring personal interest, entering fun questions just to be entertained. Elevating creative projects and gathering ideas to hang out with friends. And so with that, I want to introduce you to one of our student ambassadors. And we're going to do that through When It's Social lesson. So how do you approach technology for good? What does that mean to take a positive, empowering approach? And so I am going to go ahead and get my screen ready here. And while I do that, I'm going to turn it over to real quick, Savannah, my colleague Savannah. I know you've got a couple of polls. And so I didn't know if you had one right now that you needed to run. And so I want to just turn it over and make sure I've gone very fast here.
Hey, Andrea. I do have one for the end. I don't know
Okay.
of other ones right now that I'll chat with Arlen. I'm not sure if maybe a colleague has sent a different one, but feel
Okay.
free to get started. I'll chat you if there's something different. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Awesome. Want to make sure I wasn't skipping over anything I needed to get here. All right. So we're going to take a look at, and if you have not experienced ChatGPT yet, then this is also really, really great for you too. And I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. And all right, I think we're good here. So When It's Social is a gamified platform. So we take topics all around social media, technology, modern life skills, social skills, and we create experiences for students to engage through polling questions and face-offs and debate style questions. But more importantly, they engage in huddles. So conversations with their peers. So I invite you to join this lesson. Oh, this one is focused on AI, and it was one that we did back we launched it back in February. And to do that, take any device and go to winitsocial.com/join, right? winitsocial.com/join and enter in this team code. Okay, Diamond, gaming device. Controller. All right, got my player count climbing. Excellent. Okay, come on in. Oh, there we go. There we go. winitsocial.com/join. It'll ask you how you're feeling. So one of the things that we are able to do is when we do that, we call it a culture check or well-being check that feeds into our insights dashboard. So schools get ongoing checks of how their students are doing. They can look for trends. They can look at it across a range of dates. It's a wonderful way to just to see how your culture is trending and make different decisions. So an example of one school said, hey, we noticed a real spike in our students feeling stressed out at a certain time. And so we actually incorporated some different fun activities during that time to help deal with stress, but also some students made a campaign for stress relieving activities as well. And so lots of different benefits that can come from having those insights. Okay, look at our player count climbing. Wonderful. I've got 28 people here. Awesome. All right. For the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and get the lesson started, just knowing that this lesson code is always on the screen. So if you're just now joining, feel free to join at any point. It will put you right into the lesson. Okay, I'm going to just adjust my volume settings real quick. Okay. All right, here we go. Arlen, can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear this okay?
Yep, sounded good.
Have you ever thought about how we're the very first generation to grow up in a world surrounded by artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence, or AI for short, is a computer's ability to think and learn, and it's quickly becoming a huge part of our lives. From morning to night, AI is always there. When we Google something, play video games, or even talk to Siri. Just a few months ago, a brand new AI chatbot launched. Its name? ChatGPT. So, what do we think about this new chatbot and all things AI in our lives? Time to find out.
All right, so I'm gonna turn the music off so you can hear me. Okay, here's some quick trending articles. We stay on top of our lessons. We're constantly updating them because students want to know what's happening in the here and the now. What is the current conversation? Something that was being talked about a year ago is incredibly irrelevant for them, and therefore helping to engage them and really pull them into the conversation. They need to know that it's timely and topical and going to relate to their experience. So let's do this. Okay, we've got 3 truths and a lie. How much do we know about AI in our lives? As we may know, AI is when a computer can complete tasks that require some mind-boggling intelligence, like recognizing many patterns or analyzing a ton of info quickly. Let's think about the kind of AI we experience every day. Which of these is not considered artificial intelligence? We'll see who was paying attention earlier. We know that this answer here, if you joined in that trivia earlier in the presentation. All right, I can see almost everyone has responded. Lock in your votes. Okay. All right, everyone has locked in. Okay, so, we got a couple people here, but we all know that, yes, 97% have said the correct answer is calculators on our computers or devices. Those are not considered artificial intelligence. So all of these others are. And so it's a great opportunity to talk to students about, okay, what is AI? What is AI in cars and self-driving cars? What does that look like? And what do we know about it? What about facial recognition on smartphones? Always curious about like, how does it know when I have my glasses on and whenever I don't? And a lot of different ways that we're surrounded by and using AI every day. One thing students love is this worldview. Okay, so I have a question here. Throw into the chat. Do you think that students got the right answer? Give me a thumbs up if you think yes, that they got the correct answer. All right, let's see what everyone's saying. Yes, you can say yes, thumbs up. Okay. All right, well, let's see. When we look at how students around the world have responded, this worldwide vote. So most 65% did say yes, but you can see some of the other choices had higher responses as well. So again, a great opportunity to dive in with the students and have a deeper conversation about these different choices. Okay, so again, like I said before, it's all about having students this peer-to-peer discussion, right? Having students engage with conversation with each other, helping to build those relationships also with their teachers. So having this huddle question of like, calculators are not considered AI because they don't think for themselves. But things like Alexa and face recognition on smartphones are examples of AI. It says, as a class, can you think of 5 other examples of AI that you have seen or heard of? And on your devices, you probably are seeing some of the examples that we have heard of from our student ambassadors. But this is a great way for you as teachers to get a pulse on what do my students know about AI? What is it that they're saying? How do they see AI happening all in the world around them? Okay, and so that was our first sprint. We now have our second sprint. This is how can AI change the way we live? Okay, ChatGPT is a new tool that lots of older students are using to help them write, learn, and think of new ideas. ChatGPT can draft papers, solve tricky math problems, and even tell jokes. If you could use ChatGPT for school, how would you most likely use it? Go ahead and lock in your vote. This one's going to take you a little bit longer than that first question. You're going to use it to help pick a topic for a paper, double check your homework, research topics you're interested in, explain hard topics in an easier way. Okay, you got 30 seconds left. Okay, those of you who are still hanging on there trying to decide how you would use it if you were a student. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and advance us, lock in our votes. All right, so let's see how our class voted here. We said, 60% of us said to explain hard things in an easier way. Now, I know one of the questions is, how do you possibly talk about these topics in a positive way? And so this shows how all 4 of these choices are ones that are a positive, how students are using AI and ChatGPT positively. And so it's giving them different options on how to make that possible for them. Notice we're not putting in there how they're tripping up on it. And so it's helping to empower them to use it in a positive way. Let's see what do you think the top answer was when we asked students? What do you think that when we click on this worldwide button, do you think it's going to be this first, second, third, or fourth one? Let's see. I'm going to go with maybe the first one. Let's see what they say. To double check their homework. Great opportunity. Yep, great opportunity for students to have the conversation about double checking homework and doing homework for you. So what's the difference? And as a teacher, I would absolutely pause there and say, let's talk about the difference of using any sort of a friend or AI technology or any sort of resource. Where does it cross the line between being helpful and doing the work for you? Okay, so
hi, my name is Mary Edler.
I'm going to pause this video for just a second. You're going to get a chance to hear from Marnie. She's one of our student ambassadors, and how she explains ChatGPT.
I'm a senior in high school in California, and I'm a student ambassador for the Social Institute. When I first started using ChatGPT a few months ago, I just realized that it was this incredible tool that we've been given. I've used it to generate names for different characters for video games that I make, create prompts for different art and writing projects, and even ask it for different ideas on things I can do with my friends when we hang out. For example, here's a prompt that I asked ChatGPT. I wanted to ask it some games that I could play with my friends at a sleepover, and I wanted to know more about the murder mystery idea. So I asked it to tell me how to play a murder mystery, and it gave me some steps to follow. Then I wanted to know what some different themes I should pick, and I really liked the idea of a pirate adventure. So I asked it to expand on it, and it gave me a whole prompt list for what I should do with my friends. It's honestly pretty crazy how this works. Another example of a way I've used ChatGPT is I asked it what to make for dinner. I was feeling super hungry and didn't know what to do. So here's some different things that it gave me. I was most impressed with the intricacy and level of detail that ChatGPT was able to give me for these responses. So I did actually end up making the pizza, and it was a ton of fun. Then I started thinking to myself, what's the history of pizza? So I asked it that as well. Again, it continued to impress me with these responses, and I had a ton of fun learning about the history while I was making the pizza. Then I topped it off by asking the infamous question, does pineapple belong on pizza? To which ChatGPT declined to respond to. Now, although ChatGPT is an incredible program, it's still producing some biased, incorrect, and harmful content. So always make sure to think through what it's telling you and never use it to plagiarize. Overall, I'm so excited to see all the different ways that ChatGPT continues to expand and evolve, and to see all the different ways that us as students will be able to use it. Thanks, guys!
Okay, so that's an example of a mentor video from one of our student ambassadors where she's walking through a very just typical everyday uses for ChatGPT and ways that she's using it in her social life too. I heard of some students that use ChatGPT to get ideas for different Halloween costumes for their friend group, and as their friend group, they were including other people, so they were able to get different ideas and adjust their ideas based on the number of people who kept joining in their friend group. So it allowed that as well. So in this video, the student talked about how she uses ChatGPT to plan a fun night with her friends. It says, after seeing this, just how smart this new AI bot is, how do you think this new AI can change the way we live? So opening up the conversation again to students on maybe they had never seen it before, maybe they've only seen it once or never thought of the different ways that they could use it. So it's a great way to introduce different positive uses for this technology and for them to share as a class and with the larger group. All right, so this is our third and final sprint here. What should schools do about ChatGPT? Now, one of the things that we always work into our lessons are what we call culture questions, where you're getting a sense on, like, you're capturing that student voice. What do students really think and feel? And so what advice would you give to schools to help them use ChatGPT in the best way? Select which answer you think your school should look into. So you're hearing directly from students whenever they poll this question. Let's see what our students and our here today say. All right. Should we allow them to use it and teach students how to use it well, allow it, but only for certain subjects or projects, block students from using it at all, or just other ideas? All right, lock in your votes. I'll give you about 2 more seconds. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and for time's sake, yeah. Okay, I see people putting their votes in there in the chat. Thank you for that as well. Okay, so we have got a lot of people who said number 1. That's what most people in our class here have said. What do you think the top one will be from students? Whenever I click on this worldwide vote here, what do you think is going to be their top one? 1, 2, 3, or 4? A combo of 1 and 2. Yeah, it's a good. Okay, so you think students would say number 3? Block students from using it at all. So you can see that is a sentiment among some students. Some had different ideas. Most have said allow it, but only for certain subjects and projects. They may also be thinking about it in a, hey, I'm still trying to figure this out kind of way, and may have some reluctance to it as well. But being able to use it, you can see, is the overwhelming sentiment that it is here and it is a tool, something that we could use. So again, we rounded out with a couple more huddle questions, ways to get students talking about AI technology, and just more information from our student ambassadors on the student device. And again, an opportunity for students to share with schools of how can schools keep up with the newest and latest happenings with AI, and understand how to best use it. And so it's putting the students in the seat of being able to help coach up schools and school leaders. So with that, I would love to hear what you thought of that while I get my screen back up here for you. And as we complete this presentation today, I've got a few more. I've got some great takeaways for you. So want to make sure that you are getting those. Would love to hear any thoughts, any ideas to share. Okay. All right. So thank you so much for playing along with me with that Win It Social lesson. Now we are going to round this out today with how you as educators can be this role model for students. And I want to give you a couple of different scenarios that you can think of if you haven't, maybe you haven't dipped your toe into ChatGPT yet or any sort of AI in that kind of way of thinking about a follow-up challenge. You can do a one to level up your AI knowledge. So after you run the Win It Social challenge or Win It Social lessons, there's always a follow-up challenge that students can do. And there's a quick draw activity, and I'll make sure to include that in my follow-up resource, Arlen. So I'll include that link in there. It's a great thing to do with students. But your challenge is to pick one of two AI exercises and to find the one that will be most useful. So here we go. Here are a couple of different ideas. One, have it be a creative thought partner. Use it to plan a dream lesson. Use it to brainstorm an icebreaker or a discussion question. And I love this other one, to write that dreaded email. I know we've already talked about that in the chat a bit, but these are some simple ideas to get you started. If you're like, I'm not quite sure where to go with this, but you could definitely start by diving into one of these choices, because we know that all educators are facing these options in some sort of way. I would love to hear in the chat, is there one of these that's jumping out of you as like, hey, I never thought to use it for that particular one. I think I'll give that a try. All right. And then you'll plan the dream lesson and the icebreakers. Yes. Dream lesson. I mean, do any of you have lessons that you feel like, gosh, that's gotten kind of stale? I've been using it over years and years and over, and it's time to revamp it. Use ChatGPT. It can help you with that. You've already done the hard work, right? You've got the basis of it. You just need to refresh it. And so lots of great opportunities there for that. Oh yeah, used it to create an escape room. That's a great opportunity. Again, you've got the idea, but you're using ChatGPT as a thought partner. Okay, so challenge 2 is called Behind the Feed. And you're taking a look here at different algorithms. And so trying to understand, using these different platforms that use AI technology, seeing if you could put things in it to try to figure out the algorithms that a platform is using to design preferences, maybe on music or with Spotify, or I like doing it on Amazon of like, I'm getting, all kinds of tablecloth recommendations because I was searching for one for an event. And so now that seems to come up more and more. But it's trying to figure out what it is that I like and what might attract me as a buyer. And so you could do this algorithm challenge and see what you can figure out the algorithms are. However you're leaning into AI, here's the thing, is with all technologies, whether it's social media, whether it's AI technology, there are ineffective approaches and there are effective approaches. And for a long time, schools have said, hey, we're going to lean into scaring and restricting and being reactive and lecture students and only warn them about the negatives. And what we have learned is that doesn't that doesn't help. Like that's not what makes the long-term change. What does is looking at this as life skills for the modern day. Students just need to know how to use these and use these well. Being proactive, empowering and equipping them, acknowledging this is a tool that you have, you will likely use it. It's all around you. Let's empower you with some skills to help you use it well, and learn from them, learn from each other. And just like I learned so many ideas from you, they can learn from each other as well, and have do that through peer-to-peer discussion. And I think having, if you are looking at designing policy around AI, make sure students are part of that conversation as well, because their voice really matters and they have ideas about this. So with that, I think Savannah, you've got a poll here that we've got some freebies. I want to give a couple freebies, but I want to make sure Savannah gets time for her poll in here.
Hey there. I have a form at the end. I don't have the
The
polls,
oh,
unfortunately.
I see what you're saying. I gotcha. Okay, here's the form at the end then.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is the we do giveaways. You joined the right session today, so that's awesome. So glad that you could do this. Oh, great. And Savannah's got a Google form here. So would definitely love to hear from you. We want to know what's most top of mind for educators. Are you thinking about AI and ChatGPT? Are you thinking a lot about cyberbullying? I know that we've got a lot of districts right now that are out wondering about the amount of screen time that their students have, and that's a big topic of conversation. So let us know what it is that what you are wanting to know more about. And with that, I'm going to get my notes here. There's a post-session survey here. Arlen, are you able to share that with everyone? There we go. There we go. Thank you, Savannah, for throwing that into the chat there. So this great survey, and also, let's see. With that, you've got the survey in the chat, and also I want to make sure that you have this as well. This is a link to or a QR code for our huddle, so our newsletter. If you want to stay on top of the most latest trends and information about all things tech, you need to subscribe to the huddle. It's our newsletter. We definitely keep you on top of trending topics. We provide discussion prompts for students. We provide ways to talk to parents about topics, and we do it all within what is happening in the here and now. So definitely subscribe to the huddle. Thank you so much. Arlen, I'm going to turn this over to you. I think we are at a close here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this time as much as I did.
Yes, this was fantastic. Andrea, we thank you so much for sharing all these awesome ways that artificial intelligence can be used for academic excellence. So very much appreciate you and Savannah being with us here this afternoon. Lots of thank yous popping up in the chat for you, Andrea.
Awesome.
It is 4 o'clock, so I understand if everyone needs to log off, but we can hang out for just one more minute. If anybody has a specific question they'd like to ask Andrea or Savannah here from the Social Institute.
And somebody did ask, what is the association we are associated with? So we are with the Social Institute, and so I'm not sure if that was the question that you were needing an answer to. So I wanted to make sure I got that. And then, yeah. Does it draw from a database? It draws from all kinds of sources. It's part of OpenAI, and so why you would helping to explain why it would be used as a tool. One of the things I think I think we may have our playbook on ChatGPT available, which gives you talking points about ChatGPT and how students are using it positively, how they're tripping up, but how educators are using it as well, and can help break down some of that information and misinformation about it as well. So let me see, and I know Savannah, I see you in the background there, seeing if we can get access to that ChatGPT playbook so we can pass that on to all of you. Yeah,
Answer her question too, though, is it is from only 2017 2021. So
That's
there is
what
a
I
little bit of a hesitant. Sorry, Andrea.
No, that's exactly where I was going with that too. Of it is only up to 2021. So anything that, and it will even say, sorry, my knowledge is limited in that beyond anything from 2021. So that is and it has definitely some limitations. All right, I know I want to be respectful of your time. Y'all have given me a full hour, which is amazing. Thank you so much, Arlen. And I think it's recorded and they'll get the link, right?
Yes, that's right. We've recorded the session, which I'm going to stop now.